Yo, we are back again in the lounge and kicking it off. Episode 13? Lucky 13, unlucky 13? Depends on, you know, whether or not you're a little stitious, superstitious, just stitious, maybe no stitious at all. I myself, not too superstitious, not even really a little stitious, should I say. Used to be, but kind of grew out of it. Yeah. But breaking down 13, Freddy Krueger, Friday the 13th, you're not safe when you're sleeping, even, right? As he comes to you in your nightmares. I haven't seen Freddy Krueger, but also, you got the 13 colonies that make up the original, and the first 13 states of the United States. Again, that's kind of realized it was the 13th episode as we hit record. So let's try to see if we can rattle off those states and colonies. Don't really have a way to verify myself till afterwards, but we'll see. Let's see. Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Hampshire, New York, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Maryland. 10. I feel like I'm feeling pretty strong about those 10. I don't think Florida was a part of it because that was a Spanish territory for a long time. I'm going to throw Vermont in there. And I'm going to throw in Maine. So that brings us to 12. And for the fuck of it, Rhode Island. You know what? We're going to take out Maine and we're going to put in Delaware, I think. Final answer. Now, I'm going to check this out. I've also got something else I want to talk about today's episode, but let's see what the first 13 original colonies of the United States were. Maryland, New Hampshire, New York, Virginia. Those three are all right. Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia. That's correct. Now, we subbed out Maine for Delaware. Was that correct? Well, as it turns out, it was. Delaware is one of the 13 original colonies. Now, however, we did get one incorrect. We went 12 for 13. I think pretty freaking good. We went for 11 for 13 with then a last minute substitution. And did forget one pretty big state on the East Coast. Instead of Vermont, which I had a feeling a little bit further inland, didn't think it might quite make it, but my mind slipped on New Jersey. So R.I.P. New Jersey. Shout out the Jersey Devil. Shout out my guy Mr. Mazaway, who is usually chilling out in the massage chair, here in the Woodward Sports Studios from 2 to 4 on Armani and Edwards with Maz. So shout out to a Jersey boy like him. Shout out Tony Soprano, the Soprano crime family, the Aprile crime family, holding it down. Would love to visit the Pine Barrens someday. But yeah, like I said, 12 out of 13. That's where we rocked with the 13 original colonies on the 13th episode. Just ripped that off the dome. So always felt like history was one of my better subjects in school. And also, I've talked about how much I like geography, across several episodes too. So I feel like it just kind of ties in knowing where things are, what, the history of places are and stuff like that were. So, fun little way to get the brain rolling and kick off this episode to start, really getting into what I want to talk about, which is a couple of comparing and contrasting. I've had this thought reeling through my head for about 3 years, yeah, at least roughly, because my roommate, who his girlfriend and I, we've had this friendly debate for a few years now, pretty much the entire tenure of their relationship. So and I've taken the side that Lay's stacks, the variant of chip very similar to the Pringle that comes in the can or the tube, has surpassed the Pringle in quality, in price, in every in flavor. I think in every asset. And it's sad. The downfall of the Pringle, I think, has been undocumented. And I think I mean, who knows? I mean, someone could peel back the curtain and realize that like, you know, the Pringle has been dead. It's like that old aunt or that old uncle who you haven't heard from in a while. People are like, oh, you know, I haven't checked on them. Somebody should go over and check on them. And then when you finally do, it's like, oh shit, their cat is like eating half their face off. Not really. I'm just kind of making that up. But like, you know what I'm talking about? The Pringle. It's just been like neglected. I feel like, and yeah, it's sad. One of my favorite chips. I think the crispiness, the flavor, the the package made you feel like less of a sucker because they like kept the chips safe, but they didn't sell you a bunch of air. And you know, the one downfall would have been like, you know, your hand as you got older like didn't quite fit as hard. You know, you had to like start tilting the can and stuff like that. But that also might have been a little bit of a sign to like slow down a little bit. Maybe put the Pringle can down for a little bit. Maybe hop on the treadmill. Maybe go pound the pavement a little bit. You know, I know something I had to do a little bit myself. So, no hate. But man, the Lay's stacks. I think, like I said, not only are they a little bit cheaper than the Pringle, but I think like flavor wise, they've just like consistently they produced like a better overall like salination across the whole chip. And mind you, when we talk about these chips, I only like the original flavor. We're strictly talking the plain Janes right here. So, you know, if you think that the salt and vinegar or the barbecue or the ranch or the dill pickle or the pizza or whatever like are still phenomenal, like not arguing those at all, not eating them, don't like them. Like I said, originals, plain Janes, classic salt is all I need on my potato chip. So that's what we're breaking down here: the original Pringle, the original Lay's stacks. And I'm pretty sure the Pringle has like changed its formula or its recipe at some point a few years ago. And I don't know if they like don't I don't know if it's like an artificial potato. I don't know what it is exactly, but it just seems like it seems mushier. It seems like once it kind of gets like in your mouth, it kind of all just kind of gets a little soggier, whereas the old chip would just kind of like snap. I don't know. It had that crispiness to it. I don't think the Pringles today have that same crispiness. It reminds me, think of like if you've gone to a Catholic mass and you've had the Eucharist, you've had the body of Christ, you know, like when that wafer hits your tongue, how it kind of dissolves a little bit. Imagine that, but like still with like the the solid, like somewhat snappy texture of a Pringle, like that harder, like tougher surface. It's like that's essentially what a Pringle has become, like a potato Eucharist. That's, you know, I don't know what they make the Eucharist out of, outside of the body of Christ as Jesus' body, which he did give up for us. But, yeah, I don't know. I think the Lay's stack has surpassed, and I think the better deals that like you get. I think Pringles have tried to up their deals because you have to, and this again the argument I've had with my roommate's girlfriend Morgan has been the quality of Lay's stacks is surpassed the Pringle, and I think the consumer has also began to recognize that because we would consistently go to the store, and the Pringles to the end of the to the end of the shelf, stuffed on the wall. Hardly any Lay's stacks left. Nary a Lay's stacks. This empty crevice, this cavity next to the Pringles, and you're like, oh damn, where'd all those Pringles go? It's like, no. If you look at the label, you can see where the Pringles start and stop, and the Lay's stacks begin, and that's where that cavity forms. Because people want the cheaper option and the better option. I think, like I said, I think this is something that we could dive deeper into. Maybe I'll take a little bit more time, you know, to investigate, you know, what has been going on, you know, behind the scenes, you know, in the Pringles factory, you know, in the Lay's stacks factory, and what, you know, what's going on, what's made these chips, you know, what they are today, you know, but yeah, again, I loved the Pringle. I used to like. I think that was a solid road trip snack. You go buy a bag of chips at the gas station. The snack size Pringles were solid, but alas, you can't get the snack size Lay's stacks. I don't believe they make them, and they don't sell them at the gas station in the regular size. So, got to make that trip to the store, and you got to hope that they have them in stock because lately they've been running out, at least for the last couple of years. So, but I got my AirPod in my ear right now. I've been listening to a little bit of music as we've been recording, just 2 songs kind of bouncing back and forth in my head, kind of playing into this comparing and contrasting theme that we've got in today's episode. I kind of heard somebody talk about this over the weekend. I was listening to a podcast. Like I said, I don't listen to a ton of music, more or less. I do sometimes, got to be in like a mood for it, but I like listening to conversation. I think a lot of like podcasts, comedians and such are what, have kind of inspired me and, given me motivation and goals in life to do what I want to do this exactly, more or less. And so I wanted to dive into, this not topic, but just kind of like this comment that was made comparing one song, but two different variations of it, 2 different performances of it. And, just what people think of them. I think one of them is undoubtedly the better of the 2. But I think they're 2 drastically different performances. Like, it's the same song, but I think they have 2 different moods and tones, and a very similar tone, but because it's the same song, the message, that's carried across, but the way they deliver it, it's, and that song being the incredible hit written by the glorious Dolly Parton, I Will Always Love You, which I will, embarrassingly, maybe shamefully admit, did not know at first when I first knew of the song. I always thought it was a Whitney Houston song because I'd always associated this with Whitney Houston, the Whitney Houston performance of it, which is what we're comparing to Dolly Parton's song today, is from The Bodyguard. I haven't seen that movie, but I knew about it. I just always thought it was a Whitney Houston original, and then wasn't until a few years ago. I mean, during my tenure as as DJ Chop, breaking it down, the cabin karaoke. Oh my God, hard to know what I'm talking about there. That's kind of when I learned that, that's a Dolly Parton song. Wow, it made me feel like, a fool. So, but oh well, I've always been a fool, so that's nothing new. And so yeah, as I said, I learned that Dolly Parton. Not only did I think I learned that Dolly Parton wrote that. Also the time when someone was singing Jolene, and they're like, yeah, Dolly Parton wrote that and Jolene in the same day. And it was like, holy shit, Jolene, another great song. First time I heard that was when I went up to Shepherd, which is a little bit south of Mount Pleasant, where Central Michigan University is located. I got some family who lived there. My cousin was in a talent show or something like that, a pageant or some sort. I don't know, but one of the other contestants sang Jolene and did a tap dance to it. Never heard the song before, but I was like, oh, that's a really good song. And then, which is crazy. Grew up listening to country music, just somehow never heard Jolene. But like I said, great song. And we're here to talk about I Will Always Love You. Dolly has this such soft delivery, and it's almost like I'm trying to think of if you were to put this version of the song in a movie in comparison to Whitney Houston's, there'd be 2 drastically different scenes. I feel like when with Dolly Parton, Dolly's, I think you have this sad acceptance of look, I'm always gonna love you. However, this is what I'm doing. This is if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's meant to be. And this is the setting free of what's loved. And it's truly kind of knowing back that this is probably never going to be coming back. And just, this is the perfect scene for it. When Widow Tweed is dropping off Todd in The Fox and the Hound. bawled my eyes out as a kid to that movie. It was so sad. Like, knows what's needed, does not want to do it, but like it's like what I gotta do. And then like Todd goes and meets like Vixie or whatever, like the woman Fox's name is and stuff like that, and everything's all cool. That's probably the perfect like comparison of like I will always love you in like that scene of like I hate that I have to do this, but I'm doing what's best for you, even though like selfishly like I would love to just like I know why the caged bird sings, like you're letting that caged bird just fly free. Just flip it around. The Whitney Houston I feel like is this like just devastating like heartbreak, like you are like down on your knees like crying, like that classic trope of like the rain pouring down on you as you're just arms at your side and you're just looking up like and I'm trying hopefully a movie will come to my mind, you know, as I'm thinking and talking this out, but I just feel like that's like the difference between the two. Like if you're kind of drawing a Venn diagram of these movies, obviously there's like that small overlap of like the heartbreak and stuff, but like when you're trying to like I feel like the heartbreak and the type of heartbreak they try to convey are a little bit different, because not every heartbreak is the same, you know. At least in my opinion. Who do I know though? I would say like as a 27-year-old, I'm not someone who's experienced love a lot in life, a few times, you know, but either way, I'm sure like there's a lot for me to still learn and a lot for me to experience still in life. So, you know, either way, I just feel like it's a, you know, like very, very fantastic songs. When I do listen to music, I tend to like a lot of like those like powerful female vocals, a little bit of like those like I kind of dig the love ballads a little bit. I talked about my guy Carlos, you know, from Cabin Karaoke. He definitely influenced my music taste. Because like I said, I found myself really digging the songs he'd sing, looking them up and listening to them in my free time, and just finding similar songs to those. So, you know, I also too like it wasn't just like when I like, you know, my guy Carlos who gave me the taste for those love ballads. I would say, you know, like I said, even prior to the karaoke, when I thought Whitney Houston sang "I Will Always Love You," and I was a big fan of Whitney Houston's. I used to in high school like Whitney Houston, Celine Dion. My mom was a big Celine Dion fan, had her CDs. We used to listen to those in the car. I remember just like jamming out. I mean, I can close my eyes and I can picture driving past the park on Gillett's Lake Road, on Gillett's Lake, you know, just listening to The Power of Love with my mom. I have these like weird, just specific memories. And there's another song that I can't remember the name of, but I'd always forget the name of. But yeah, I know The Power of Love for sure was one that, and like I said, like really, we're passing the park. On the left is like the beach more or less, and on the right we're like passing the drive that like takes you into the park. And yeah, like it's fantastic vocals. When I started like, you know, experimenting with drugs that I've talked about a little bit on previous episodes, you know, the cold cookie soup with my guy JB. I knew one time I was in trouble. My mom, when she got home from work, was just gonna ream me out. My dad said, like, you're gonna have to just pull your pants down and bend over and take it from your mom. She's going to chew you. Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven. She did the whole LeBron James, you know. That's how many assholes she was going to chew me out for. I can't remember what I did, but I was in for it. And I had some weed in the basement, so I was just like, fuck, I don't give a shit. I just went downstairs, threw in some earphones, listened to Chance the Rapper's Acid Rap mixtape, and some powerful female vocals from Whitney Houston, Celine Dion. Blazed up, blew that smoke out the basement window so it didn't stink up the house and I didn't get caught. And by the time my mom got home, I sat there with a glazed, stony look on my face, didn't hear a fucking word she said, and it really didn't matter. So, because I mean, when you listen to this, Mom, are you even gonna remember what she got mad at me for? Hell no. So, who gives a shit? So, yeah, you know, again, like I said, like, I've always dug that type of music, those like powerful female vocals. I obviously like guys, you know, have like some really cool talent as well with their voices too, but I just think that the ability to hit such like hard notes, hold them for so long, just the power that comes from like some of these frames too, like Celine Dion, like the power that comes from like that diaphragm is, it's incredible. Like Adele, fantastic too. So, you know, really really dig it. If I want to give you guys a taste of like some of those like those male like vocals I really dig. I mean, I like a lot of male artists, but Wood just started playing in like, you know, in the playlist after I had the repeat of I Will Always Love You between Whitney Houston and Dolly Parton bouncing back and forth. A little bit of Marty Robbins, you know, big iron, big iron, big iron on his hip, which my guy Harlan's gonna know. I know we've talked about that. I think that'd be a solid karaoke song. I dig karaoke. I miss it, man. I would love to start hosting karaoke again at a bar or whatever. Maybe we just go out, do like a Woodward karaoke night at a bar or something like that. Who knows? But either way, man, what a fun time. I miss it. And as I've gotten older, I'm just kind of like thinking back. Like, I wish I would have gotten up on stage a little bit more. I knew there's times where I would have a few, let loose a little bit, but always time to get back up on stage. I know my guy JB has not been to karaoke. Really want to let him loose up on the stage because he is, man, he is a diamond in the rough, man. We just need to get a little bit more polish on him because that boy is gonna sparkle, man. He's older than me, so no way. But that man, he is something else. So I love JB, and can't wait to get out, hang out with him some more. Like I said, get out on the karaoke stage, see him perform some solos, get up there, do a duet with him. You know, show him it's okay to let loose a little bit. You know, get the gears rolling. Maybe start out with a duet and then let him take over. You know, go from what's the dude's name from the Temptations? You know, at first we'll be the Temptations, but then I'll let him be David Ruffin and go take over and do his thing because he's definitely got that type of talent, you know, in him. So can't wait to let him show it off. So, but either way, I think that might be a good time to call it here. You know, we've had some fun comparing and contrasting. I'm starting to get a little hungry, and I know they have some delicious muffins and these like thick ass chocolate chip cookies. They're like legit like this big over at Roast. You know, I had some coffee yesterday. Probably gonna go get myself another cup. And you know, not only do they make the chocolate cookies, but they warm them up for you too, and they're fantastic. So going to go fill myself up with some sugary goodness at 7:30 in the morning. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you alligators later.